cash crisis. We're talking about Venezuela once again.
Systemic important banks. They removed the 1,000 they called monetary awareness.
All right, we are live for Friday RTD News Update. So it's been a minute since I've checked in via live streaming, so I wanted to connect, share my 2 cents on some things, and just I guess highlight some of the most interesting things that really caught my attention when it comes to the monetary system and how, based upon everything I'm seeing, feel free to let me know what you're seeing. But based upon everything I'm seeing, the swamp 2.0, whatever you want to call it, still looks to be in control of everything, especially the bigger picture, which is our currency and the direction of our country, because of this Bitcoin euphoria right now that is being deliberately placed as the preferred and the, I guess, obvious place to go because of where all this fiat currency will be siphoned into intentionally. But then again, if you know what the game plan is, it's either you ignore it or you play along with it. So I want to share my thoughts on some things as well as get your feedback. So as always, for those who are plugged in, if you're enjoying this type of content where it's alternative perspective, definitely outside the box, then make sure you guys show your support, hit the like button, as well as make sure you subscribe so you can stay plugged in whenever we do go live. So I want to just share with you some headlines that I think is worth paying attention to, because they're going to ramp up, and it has everything to do with gold, but not in the way that I would hope. And I'd assume if this whole MAGA movement was authentic, that you would probably hope as well. And it's more so moving away from gold and getting Bitcoin. Who would have ever predicted that that would be the narrative in 2024? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so looking forward to connecting, man. As always, feel free, those thoughts, ideas, suggestions in the comment section. Let me know what you guys keep your eyes on. I have more thoughts and opinions on a variety of subjects than I can actually get to, because if I did, I would be on the air 24/7, and of course I can't do that. But my biggest thing here, just to connect with you guys and share my 2 cents and just lay out what should be obvious as to the direction that we're being steered in, and let's talk about who's behind it. Because once again, yeah, I just none of this surprises me whatsoever. But then again, mama didn't raise no fool. So there's a place for all this in our strategic portfolios as well. So hopefully you guys are taking advantage of it. And I want to share my thoughts on that. So anyway, I want to just jump right in, share my 2 cents before I do that. Just putting together more resources. I definitely want to be able to talk about the issues we face, but then again, present the community with a chance to, I guess, protect, hedge, as well as possibly speculate as well in some industries. And so I got a couple of things I want to share with you guys. And then I have maybe 10, 12 tabs open that I'm going to try to go through and just share my 2 cents on it, scan through the airlines. But, my biggest thing is the monetary perspective. That's what the whole rethinking the dollar concept is about, knowing that we were going to come to a point where, because we're in the greatest, we are witnessing what will be considered the greatest monetary reset of all times, because of the entire world being in on this fiat debt Ponzi scheme, because of the way the system has transitioned throughout the decades. And now it's come to a halt because of the debt load that's unsustainable. And central banks are right now the focal point. Most people are now aware of who the Federal Reserve are, as well as all the other banks. And so they need some major distraction. And it so happens that Bitcoin fits that perspective, to where it puts less pressure on the Federal Reserve and all their, bad policies that they've done for the last several decades, because of right now the fact that Bitcoin is being used as a siphon to basically allow all the past and future fiat currency that is in existence now, whether it be paper or digital form, to be siphoned into what will be blown up as a great digital wealth preservation asset, as some people like to consider it as. And it helps the Federal Reserve get out the hook, because it should excite a lot of people on the other end of that, because of the illusion of prospering in a currency that's dying. And so, okay, I'm not going to go, I can go on and on and on, but I wanted to based upon everything that we're witnessing right now, I downloaded something a while ago that I haven't used, but it's just a little, I guess, a little meme or something I want to use. Let me play it real quick and then I'll jump in. So this is something that it kind of summarizes this entire experience we're having right now from a monetary perspective.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Is this not why you're here? I hope you guys are entertained because I definitely am. And seeing where things are going, it's unfortunate, but then again, we meaning those who know how things play out in the future. We know the pathway to get to where we got to go. But anyway, okay. So this afternoon, hope everyone's doing well. Let's jump right in. I got a couple things I want to share with you. Then we're going to get into a lot of headlines, and I'm going to show you how this was a part of the plan well before we ever arrived here. What 15 years ago, before the creation of Bitcoin, just because of the way things have been trending for quite some time now. So nothing is coincidental. It's all intentional. Just remember that. But then again, within all that change comes opportunity. Okay, so I'm gonna share some opportunities with you. So, okay, let's jump right in. Let's jump right in. Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited to be on air. Yes, let's get it going. Okay, so for those who might be new, you never know. That's why I gotta always remind people of opportunities. So right here we have colonialsmetals.group.com, which is a supporter of the community and the channel. And what they do is specialize in helping people get physical gold and silver in their possession, whether it be in your personal vault or in a depository, so that you can hedge and protect yourself against this overinflated bubble of economy that we're living in now, that I'm going to talk more about as to why it's important to have strategies outside of just, buy, hold, and save and just hope that it compounds with interest over time in a debt-based world. But for those who are interested and want to find out more, here's an opportunity for you guys to do that by going to link the description and then putting your information in here, downloading this PDF here, and reading more about the opportunities. And then you'll be contacted by the experts. And let me actually give you the number. So if you guys are interested, you can reach out yourself, because it'll be a great way to make sure you stay plugged in and get all your questions answered. So once again, this is a opportunity for those who have interest, those who've worked very hard, and you may have a large stash in bonds or stocks, and you want to diversify some things. So once again, the number here, call it 888-521-2448 and tell them Mike sent you, and just ask questions and find out if this is something for you. And like always, all the community members that I've heard from, they find it to be a very valuable resource. So more information in the description if you guys are interested. Check them out. Okay, let's keep it moving. And so out of everything we're witnessing right now, with this whole Bitcoin euphoria, I got I got a lot of visual aids up here. And let's just let me share this one right here with you. So this is what I think when we look back in history books, we're going to realize the turning point and what was used as a major distraction. So on the screen right here, as you guys can see, let me get myself out the way here. As you can see, this is what we're up against. This is what has caught the attention of everybody. It's the idea of making America great again, and it has everything to do with everybody's desire to make sure that they have protected and preserved everything they worked hard for, not realizing that in the dab center of this is the currency, which is the issue. And so we've come a long way to get to this point where this thing here is it's just being plastered on every news channel. Everybody named Mother is talking about this item here. And so if you just look at how things have been trending, there's no coincidence that this was placed here intentionally. And if you look at the root cause and the origins of everything, it started right here with the NSA, the National Surveillance Agency or Security Agency. And so believe me, they have a lot bigger say in all of this than most people know. And if you want to question me, I can point you to some articles that show you that they got a nice, lengthy, diversified surveillance mechanisms to keep track on this. So if you steer everybody in that direction willingly because they don't want to miss out on these gains, makes it easier to transition them into a digital economy solely down the future. But anyway, we'll get to that. But my whole point is this is the mega wealth effect we're experiencing now, and it's led by Bitcoin. Because the current administration, no matter who they are, whether it was Kamala or Trump, they could never talk about the underlying problems, which is the failure of the fiat currency. They'll talk about the debt need to be paid off. And of course, I got articles saying that we need to sell our gold to buy Bitcoin so Bitcoin can pay off our national debt. Why not just revalue gold to what it should be, globally speaking, and then address the debt? But we can't go backwards. We can only go forwards. So I accept that. I know we can't go back. I know Bitcoin is here to stay, so I'm no fool. But then again, I'm just want people to realize that this is a part of a greater plan. And once it all unfolds, I want people to be able to say, man, Mike mentioned that, years ago, man. He mentioned that years ago. That's my whole point. So between now and then, you can be one step ahead of the average person. But long story short, this is the mega wealth effect. And as a result of this, it's my personal opinion that I don't really anticipate this current administration, this incoming or incoming administration, to really put any additional purchasing power in my pocket, like literally. And so let me just share another graphic with you that I love to share because of this right here. So this administration that's coming in will not, I repeat, he will not, somebody please prove me wrong. He will not put any additional purchasing power in your pocket because this entire system of the Federal Reserve is the overarching problem. And then the policies and procedures in place to protect them is why the system is the way that it is. So he'll never really address anything here. None of these other 46 presidents will do the same either. So they can't do that. But you as an individual, once you're educated, you know better. It's your responsibility to deliberately, you create opportunities to put purchasing power back into your pocket. So there's two types. Let me describe those two real quick. I'm everywhere right now just because I feel like I want to get this out. There's two types of purchasing power. You have the storage of value, short, medium, and long term, that transcends any type of currency at that time. And what do I mean by transcends? Good example. Go back 100, 200 years ago, when gold and silver were the monetary mediums of the time. Paper and stuff like that was not looked at as being something people wanted. So they stayed away from paper. And there was no such thing as digits then. But it was a medium that went beyond time. So a good example is if a treasure ship sunk 200 years ago in the ocean, in which there's still some down there, and they bring it above ground, the contents of that ship carries more value today than it did then. Why? Because the actual intrinsic value of the mediums that were on the ground, gold and silver, trophies, irons, horns, scepters, you name it, carried value. So those are things that carry value throughout time. Fact. And so I look at that as an insurance policy. Gold and silver are insurance policies against fiat currencies. And I'm looking at it as a, not insurance policy, because insurance is against the debt, but as a hedge against the digital stuff, which is, it's not going anywhere. So I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to play along with it. But so that you have the historic and you have the new stuff. The new stuff is what they're doing intentionally. It's called digital asset appreciation. And that is that wealth effect that I'm referring to, where the goal is to flood these new markets, these new asset classes with currency to create that effect that everyone's getting wealthy, but they're getting wealthy in a dying currency and in digital blips on a blockchain that nobody owns, but it's unmutable and it can't be stopped. Okay, sure. I had exposure to it. I'm sure some of you do as well. I'm going to play the game as well. But the goal is to ride this train as far as I can and then pull out some and then go buy more of my insurance policy over here. So give you an idea what I'm talking about. This is just off the cuff, but just to show you what some insurance policy looks like. In my hand here, if you guys can see it, I got a couple little beauties that I got in the mail. These are what I call insurance. These are called insurance policy, aka premiums right here. The more of these you have, the better insured you are against fiat currency, and whether it's Republican or Democrat in office, it don't matter. You're insured. Okay. Long-winded rant, but I had to get that out. It was fun. And so reason I show you all these graphics is just because Donald Trump is not going to put any purchasing power in your pocket. He can't. But he will utilize the debt system to inflate this digital asset class to make it appear as if you're wealthy. Then he'll come out and take credit. Look at your 401ks. Everyone is doing good. Look at your look at your crypto portfolios. You're a billionaire now. All along, this is a part of the swamp's agenda. Well before Trump came, he just happened to fit the perfect model of being the gentleman that wasn't political, says what he want to say, and he just fits the right position to be that guy that can win the people's trust. He's done that. So now that he's coming in office pretty soon, we're going to find out what he's really made from. And I have my personal opinion on him, and I'm not going to share it because I know it might upset a lot of people. But let's just wait and then look at the fruit that falls from the tree. That's what the good book says to do, rather than being an outright judge of people. Just look at their fruit. I got some things I can share, man. That but I'm gonna keep to myself because I want to be nice. But my point is, this is still the intro. Well, my point is, the only thing Donald Trump will do for you is what you do while being aware and utilizing the opportunities. And so here's a great way of doing it. This is a tool. This is a tool to ensure yourself. So on the page right here, you see a variety of gold and silver products with his emblem on it, with his name, image, and likeness associated with it. And so the people who acquire these because you're either a fan of Trump or you believe that he's going to make America great again or whatever it might be, having these with his emblem on it will be the closest thing you ever get to receiving back the purchasing power stole from you from this debt-based system. And it's going to come from its value increasing over time, regardless of the environment we're in, regardless of how it dig it up underground 100 years later, it will still retain more value than the paper, the digits on the screen, and for sure digital assets, cryptocurrencies. But so my point is, if you guys are interested in getting your weight up with good old Donald, taking advantage of this price suppression with Donald's association to it, because he's helping us out by this digital wealth effect, then click the link in the description. Go get you some Trump. You got gold, silver here. And the most recent one here is a 47 for his victory coin. So if you guys are interested, go check that out. But yeah, just a little something there. Okay, so let's get into it, man. One last thing. Since I'm just sharing opportunities with you guys, for those who are plugged in and you guys enjoy connecting and just having me share my thoughts, and if it resonates with you, then you want to support the channel, there's always ways to do that. So I want to make sure people's available, and I appreciate those who have blessed the channel before. So if you guys are interested, feel free to donate. Links in the description as well. Feel free to contribute any way you feel that's worthy of the information that's being given, because once again, it takes time, energy, and effort and research to put all this together. So feel free to donate. But what I would rather have you guys do, for those who want to really bless the channel and support alternative media, the best thing to do is to support. Right now, for this Black Friday, I'm going to be doing a promotion. So here I have the Get Your Weight Up t-shirt, which is basically the epitome of the entire channel here, encouraging people to get their weight up, because these paper nothings here will be returning to their intrinsic value zero. So I want to make it available for anybody who wants to rep the brand as well as a supporter of the movement with getting your weight up. So if you guys are interested, feel free to click the link in the description and use promo code WEIGHT, WEIGHT, and grab any shirt or whatever you like. And it's a 20% off opportunity for those who want to bless the channel and rep the merch to spread the message of them telling people to still get their weight up. So if you're interested, links in the description. Use the promo code WEIGHT and save 20% off, which is shipping a little bit more. And you can rep the brand and then shoot me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on it. And yeah, definitely love to, bless you as well. So thank you, people. Okay, so let's get into it. So we are now well into the video this afternoon. And yeah, so having fun. That's why I'm having fun. It's been a minute. I ain't been online in a week. So I'm just, when you suppress it for so long, it just it pumps popping up and it's everywhere. Okay, but I want to get into the news because I want to be here forever, because I wanted you guys to go be busy today. Okay, so let's jump into it. So what am I talking about today? Pretty much it's sweet and simple. Subject matter. Why is there a push for the U.S. to get rid of our gold? Why? And my easy answer is because the swamp still runs the show. I mean, it's no other way of looking at it, because common sense would tell you, if our politicians, those that are part of the incoming party or those that were former, if they really cared about the American people, they would not deliberately steer them in a direction where they know it's a trap. But then again, everybody has someone to answer to. Everybody has someone to answer to. And you do as you're told. If you get out of line, bad things happen to people who get out of line. Just look at the history books. So anyway, so that's why I'm not for this whole MAGA situation. I'm going to be very outspoken against it, because I know it's a plan to take us towards a one world government, which the Bible says is coming. So no matter how good America gets between now and whenever, I know at the end of the day, whatever done in DC will result in the power being shifted towards Europe, United Nations, and the EU, and all those countries will come under one union with one common currency under one leadership. I know it's fact. Debate me if you want, but anyway, so I say all that not to be facetious or not to be a know-it-all, but just sharing my beliefs with you guys. But anyway, okay, so what's my whole point? Let's just look at some stuff real quick. So as I mentioned, we got the MAGA wealth effect, which is why we're going to see Bitcoin. Like, let me just jump on this real quick. Just because everybody, how can you not pay attention to it? So because it's plastered on every mainstream news source. But as of right now, as of the time of me talking, we're at $99,000 for a Bitcoin, and I've been talking about Bitcoin I've been talking about it in a very unpleasant yet conspiratorial way, if you want to say it that way, for 7 years. hold on. I got some videos in my catalog going back to when I first started doing my confessions of a Bitcoin skeptic. And because I'm ranting, I'm having fun. Let me just go ahead into my archives. And so I can share with people. It's one thing to do all this talking, but I want to let people know what I've been doing and why rethinking the dollar has become a pretty relevant subject matter. Because everybody will find out for themselves in due time what and how and why we got here. So let me go back here to my catalog and find out when was some of my first videos here. Bitcoin. Let me go back here. I see 2017. That's too soon. Let me go back here. Okay, I got 2000. Let me go back. Okay, I may not be able to go back, but let me see if I can find one of my videos here. Because as a result, okay, let me go back here. Okay, so back here we go. So let me share on the screen with you. I'll share on the screen with you when I knew the Bitcoin that I first found out about and was excited about myself changed. And so let me bring this on the screen here so you guys can see what I see. So here you see the back end of rethinking the dollar. So here we got, this is probably so I said, Bitcoin, could it be a booby trap? A skeptical way of looking at it. And this was a 27-minute rant of me basically laying out my arguments. But then again, I could talk about Bitcoin all the way back here. And so I even talked about it with 𝗙𝗘𝗟𝗓𝗓 back in 2017. So that was what, 7 years ago ish, almost 8 years ago. Me and 𝗙𝗘𝗓𝗓𝗓 kicking it, talking about Bitcoin and him sharing his concerns. But my whole point is, I was very skeptical going back for some time because I realized that the Bitcoin that I first studied and found out about was not the Bitcoin that we have now, and it's far from what we have now, as far as being the cyberpunk movement of disrupt, debank, become your own bank, all that stuff gone. So here's just some stuff here of me once again, Bitcoin futures cash settlement. I talk about that. So I just, this is me and the guys back in the day, just having fun. But my whole point is, Bitcoin has changed a lot, and it's been hijacked intentionally. And it is literally a Wall Street project in collaboration with our political system and our surveillance system. You got NSA, you got Wall Street, you got DC. Those three entities are using digital assets as a distraction to divert our attention off of what is most important, which is the concept of retaining and or ever again being able to have a currency that has value in it. So say for example, look at this graph here. We are down 98% of purchasing power from 1913. That is by design, because the Federal Reserve, a private institution, has come in, hijacked, stole our time, energy, and effort from humanity. Now it's time to reboot the system. So in the midst of the greatest reset in human history, you need some distractions that are unlike nothing else. And it so happens to be Bitcoin. But it's great. That's great. It's a good thing. It has to happen. These things has to happen. Believe me. So once again, say for example, if Trump came out with some pro purchasing power policies, and the best pro purchasing power policy would be his admission of, or even public acknowledgement of, where our money truly comes from. And it comes from, far to the screen over here, the United States Mint. They are the ones that are supposed to issue gold and silver for our country. And our Treasury is supposed to be our financial orchestrators to handle our books, not the Federal Reserve. So until he talks anything about the US Mint, until I hear the word gold or silver come out of his mouth, I know that he's a part of the problem. So quote me on that. Okay. So I say all that because here we are now. Bitcoin is here. It's going to be utilized. And sure, utilize it, because if you are of the mindset that I'm trying to share with you guys, you realize the opportunity to be able to make a life-altering, life-changing experience for you and your family by joining along with the party, but then again, having a plan as to where you plan on being able to divest out of and into what is real and tangible, knowing that they want to take you into a solely digital world with smartphones, smart house, smart TV, smart car, smart this, smart 15-minute cities. The goal is to try to avoid those things for as long as you can, but it's going to be inevitable. Everybody's going to adapt. But I'll point a kid, $99,000. So I've been watching Bitcoin since it was under $100. Literally, I've been watching Bitcoin charts, I would say, more than I have gold and silver, because I believed in the project. And so here we are now, 99,000. And from the video I did yesterday about the unlimited upside of Bitcoin, there is no ceiling to how high it can go in USD terms because there's no floor as to how far the USD or Federal Reserve note can go because it is still the world reserve currency and recognized by everyone on this planet as being something that they would rather have than their own currencies. Okay. So, with all that being said, with all that being said, let me with all that being said, let's get into the subjects now. Let's get into the primary subjects. Okay, so this is why I know we are right where we were supposed to be as far as the swamp creatures having planned this out perfectly. Because once Bitcoin became the ETF product by Wall Street, BlackRock, Larry Fink, they are now the spearheaders of it. And then you hire a globalist as well as a puppet, Michael Saylor, to be the primary company. You got the number one financial investment firm. You got the number one now Bitcoin software company, MicroStrategy, leading the charge. You'll be a fool if you don't jump on this train. So Apple's, Amazon, they all coming. They all coming. But man, how genius is this as an escape hatch for all the fiat currency that's present and the additional trillions that's coming? Like, man, I got so many thoughts about this, but trust me, people, the $99,000 Bitcoin is small compared to where, if they have their way, where it's going to go. And so that could be a good thing for those who have a plan. Okay, so here we got on the screen. U.S. Senator pushes gold sales to kickstart massive Bitcoin reserves. So the U.S. Senator has proposed selling gold reserves to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So once again, our government has a world reserve currency. Wouldn't it be in our best advantage to utilize that privilege we still have now by just reinstating something that's already on the books? Gold and silver is money according to our constitution, according to everything else. And then if you're going to speculate and gamble with our taxpayer funds and the American people's gold, if it's still there, wouldn't you just focus on gold and then use silver or use Bitcoin as a alternative, like as a icing on the cake? Use gold as a cake, then use Bitcoin as an icing on the cake to really reassure that the U.S. Federal Reserve note, aka the dollar, and the U.S. remains the number one countries on the planet. But they can't do that. Why? Because the U.S. doesn't have any gold. It's my hypothesis that Fort Knox is empty. The Federal Reserve banks in New York, which is the number biggest bank, they have leased out, and I'd imagine this is all pure speculation and conjecture, so don't take this as scripture. I believe that the gold has been stolen and put into possession of the oligarchy families that are the primary shareholders of the too big to fail banks and the central banks. So the too big to fail banks are the shareholders of the Federal Reserve, and so the families and the families, we got the names. You know the names. I gotta be careful with the names because YouTube, they know the names too. Those families have probably siphoned off the gold, and they sitting on stockpiles of gold and vaults in their bunkers, vaults underneath their castles in countries that I can't even pronounce. That's where the gold is at. And so they are sitting on something tangible. And China and Russia and the BRICS are also accumulating because they know what's really going on. And here we are in the US, our politicians talking about selling a damn gold and getting some Bitcoin. How foolish could you be? Unless it's a part of a plan. Everything is that intentional, never coincidental. Okay, so let me just jump real quick here, share some things with you. These are important because your current president and the one coming in will not tell you these things the way that I will. And so therefore, it's up to you to make decisions based upon the information that you gather and use for yourself, because you will be lied to. It is in our government's best interest to lie to you until you die. Because if you find out the truth, if everybody find out the truth, find out that we're the ants against the grasshoppers, we win. But as long as we, the people, believe that there's somebody out there that's going to come and save the day, it just buys them more time and it further enslaves the people. Okay. U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis shared insights on Thursday interview with CNBC as a Bitcoin reach a Bitcoin another high. And so she attributed BTC's price movements to primary factors: rising momentum for digital assets regulations and emerging discussions on a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So here we have a politician. Let me bring on the screen here. She is talking about, Cynthia Lummis is talking about, so you didn't see the first article. Let me go back here. I apologize. I'm up here ranting, but not realizing what I'm looking at. U.S. Senator pushes the gold sales to kickstart massive Bitcoin reserves. Okay, this is the article I mentioned. And then here we have, this is all last week. But then again, once again, you're going to hear a lot about this until Trump signs his name on the dotted line authorizing this activity because he doesn't have a choice. It's what they want. It's what the swamp wants. He does it, or his presidency will be cut short. Just like this last presidency was interrupted, but he signed his name on the dotted line for that medical stuff. That will be the, yeah, okay. Just having some fun, people. Just having some fun. Okay. Senator Lummis proposal for Bitcoin Act sell Fed's gold as BTC overtakes silver. So once again, I thought the gold belonged to the United States of America. I thought it was the people's asset. So is it the people's asset or is it the Fed's asset? Huh? Lummis? This lady here, every time she speaks, it's just something about my spirit, man. Just something ain't right here. Telling you, boy, these people, woo-wee. Anyway, so here she are telling people to sell gold. Okay, so what is this all about? Let me share this with you real quick. So since I got you on here, let me share this with you real quick. So let me bring some things on the screen here because this is all impromptu, but this is as a result of her spiel. Let me find it that she gave the other day. Let me see. I was going to make a video on it, but I didn't get to it. Where is it at? Let me find it. Okay, here you go. So I just want to play some of this. We'll walk through it and try to make sense of it.
There's an appetite now to do a statutory framework for digital assets. Senator 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪 and I have been working on that for years. We'll now move to that in early 2025 as opposed to later in 2025. The other thing is the proposal that I have.
So there's a framework in place that they want to move to early 2025 rather than late. Why early? Why not keep the momentum going? Keep the momentum going. Keep the regulatory framework, the buzz exciting about it, and the idea that Trump is about to establish a digital asset council. Is that a genius idea on his part, or is his advisors, the swamp 2.0 creatures around him that were from Wall Street, that worked for BlackRock, worked at Goldman Sachs, who are now in his ear telling him what they want? The same people who funded his campaign telling him what they want. So once again, this guy could care less about Bitcoin. He's just doing as he's told. Remember that. And he hasn't become president yet. And I can tell you how it's going to play out. So let me just play a little bit more of this. I think this is very telling because this lady, to me, I don't like talking bad about people, but because I know I can't trust her, because I know she's not operating in the best interest of you, I can say this with confidence that this lady here is a snake, boy.
And that President Trump has discussed about a strategic Bitcoin reserve or strategic Bitcoin stockpile where
Okay, so she's saying President Trump, whatever, has discussed. President Trump would never have mentioned Bitcoin had it not been for those who have told him that that's where things has to go. And so he does as he's told, even though he's positioned as a boss, a big man who does whatever. There's the forces that are in his ear are much greater than any one individual. So first of all, so he has no choice. So I can't front him for that. If you want that position, then you got to do as you're told. Wherever you're watching right now, if you're not the boss, even if you are the boss, there's a bigger boss than you that you have to be aware of their thoughts and opinions, whether it be your board, whether it be your shareholders. There's some bosses out there that everybody got to answer to. So stuff like this, none of this is original. Like, who couldn't have saw this coming is my point. But it's just so obvious.
The United States would acquire and hold Bitcoin for 20 years.
20 years.
Because of the way that Bitcoin has been appreciating since inception,
it's been appreciating since inception because it's been placed here at the end of the current Federal Reserve dollar-based fiat Ponzi scheme system intentionally. Satoshi Nakamoto is the NSA. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that people don't find anything wrong with this, well, I don't understand. The idea of profiting off this transition is so appealing, and it's the lust for money, it's the greed that people inherently become entrenched in having because of this life and the narratives around it, and the idea that people are so desperate because of the conditions we live under in this fallen world that it becomes easier to latch on to things that give you hope. But what if it's a setup? What if it's all wrong? That's what people don't consider. Be open to that. I could be 100% wrong, or I could be 50% right. Having both of those in your data bank and using that as a reference is better than saying Bitcoin is the best thing since sliced bread and everything else fails. Everything else is Bitcoin is going to succeed. My great grandkids is going to have. Have you read the Bible, son? Anyway,
would be an asset that could help shore up the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency and serve as
so having a Bitcoin strategic reserves of the U.S. buying up Bitcoin by creating more currency, expanding the monetary base by diluting the currency that's already in circulation, robbing you of your purchasing power even more, to then bring into existence currency that doesn't exist, to then go buy digital blips of nothing on a ledger, and then putting it on a wallet that our government's supposed to hold and allowing it to grow over time. The only way cryptocurrency grows is based upon the amount of currency, euros, dollars, yen, renminbi, pesos, that go into it, that gives it a nominal value that we look on the screen. So it's $99,000 a day because confidence in our currencies is gone. So people are either using it as an escape hatch. The governments are literally wanting it to pump so that they can sell this stuff to the public. And the fact that it's a part of this real world asset movement where they're trying to sell the idea of digital assets being the future so that everything that is in the real world can be tokenized and owned by the controller of the blockchain. And the controller and the owner of the blockchain will not be the American or the people of this planet. 8 billion people will not own a blockchain. You will have an entry and an exit to a blockchain, but who you think is going to own the blockchains? The same people who own the debt system, the same people who took the gold. Just real quick, man, I just got so much I got to get off my chest. Let me share something else with you. Like, let me share this visual aid with you right here. This is, to me, when I put this together 6, 7, 8 years ago, this to me said it all. Let me get this off here and then go back to this one so you can see what I see. Okay, so here we have the changing forms of Americans' money. Going all the way over here. Let's just zoom in here. Oops, give me a second. Let's just, I got it. This is a historical lesson. This is a how-to guide. This is all that in one. So if we zoom in here and we go back here, just look at our history. We were heading this way regardless. So paperback, 40%, gold and silver, 60% in circulation. This was an overall approximate average of percentages of gold and silver in circulation along with paper. Then as time goes along, 1900, unbacked paper. They introduced receipts, receipts, back paper, gold and silver. So here we got the Federal Reserve notes that were redeemable at the banks. Then you have gold and silver that was still in people's hands being used to go buy bread. You take a nickel, go buy a piece of bread. And then you have more unbacked paper, more receipts, less paperback. So literally, this is when silver was still redeemable at the bank until till JFK. And then, of course, we got gold and everything in between. Silver is less used. Now, from the 71 and on, electronic currency and unbacked paper. And now, electronic currency. Associate this with anything that resides on a ledger, whether it's the central bank's ledger, the commercial bank's ledger, the NSA's, Bitcoin ledger, you name it, a ledger. Nothing is there, nothing tangible, nothing, everything, something that requires continuous power consumption and requires some type of server or mainframe. And of course, we got, look what's last. This is what, under this current administration is coming in, this is what will be taken away from us bit by bit, the unbacked paper. So when you see papers, wherever my papers are, of a fiat currency, this is what's going to be less trendy in the days ahead. So who couldn't have saw this coming? Huh? And I hate when people say Ray Charles could have saw that coming. Rest his soul. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there because Kathy Lummis, that just angers me. So I'm not going around. But okay, so we know what her agenda is. Let me share with you some of her recent things. Here we go. Okay, so here we have the Lummis Bitcoin Act 2024. So let me just zoom a bit here so you guys can see what I see here. So let me click on this so you can see. Okay, so this is what we're looking like. This is what the framework of what she's working towards, and what more Congress people who are, now that the Senate and the House are more Republican in nature, they are going to be for it because it presents such a great opportunity to, I guess, make America great again, and to put purchasing power, or put currency in your pocket where you can hold it on your own wallet and your ledger and all those buzzwords that we could have all that if you just make gold and silver worthwhile again. But we know we can't go that way, and I accept that. I'm not mad. I know we can't go backwards. I'm just saying I want people to know that this is not because they're doing this because they want you to be blessed and they want you to prosper. This is about the digital tyranny that's coming as a result of this. But these are the things that we have to go this way in order to get to the one world currency. So I accept that because it's written. That's a part of God's strategy, God's plan, his blueprint for humanity. It's just I want people to realize that, you know, here lies an opportunity. But then again, when it's complete, game, set, match. Okay, so real quick here. I got a lot of more articles. I may not drop them all out to you, but anyway. So here we got Bitcoin Act. So let me just share 7 steps. Here's our 7 steps. Establish strategic Bitcoin reserve. By how? Selling our gold. Selling our gold and or using just created funds out of nowhere to buy Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin purchase program. Treasury. So United States Treasury, that's supposed to oversee our financial ordeals with the world and in domestically, they're now supposed to get into the Bitcoin business. But then again, they have failed at the idea of using gold and silver directly for the people to use. They failed the people, but we're supposed to trust them with going digital. To purchase 200,000 Bitcoin per year for 5 years. Okay. Proof of reserves. Here you go. This chick, she want a verification of the digits in Bitcoin on a government's wallet. But here we are. It's been 50 years. They can't even audit the Fed to make sure the gold is still in Fort Knox. And you get my drift. They've never done a Federal Reserve audit to make sure the books line up. But then again, they can't. And they've never audited the gold since 1970, 60 or something like that. But we're supposed to have a reserve, a proof of reserves on a publicly visible blockchain that the NSA can see whenever they want. Okay. Just to see how much of just see this lady. Consolidate current holdings. All Bitcoin held by other agencies to be transferred to SBR. Voluntary state participation. States can participate voluntarily by depositing to and withdrawing from the segregated accounts. A Bitcoin account for states. We can't even take care of our gold and silver. And that's how I know this is a part of the trap. This is a swamp. This is a swamp 2.0. Offsetting costs. First $6 billion of Federal Reserve's net earnings. So the Federal Reserve is still operational. So once again, she's not addressing the cause to humanity's failures, which is the central banking. She's working along with them. $6 billion of the Federal Reserve's net earnings each year will go to SBR. So in order for the Federal Reserve to have net earnings, that means they have to have a product that they're earning interest off of, which means they're still going to be in operations. And what else do you think is going to be in circulation by that time? Fed coin, CBDC, because their earnings come from the monetization of the debt that they buy from our government. Okay. Oh, okay, no problem. And then the last one, protect Bitcoin property rights. Affirm rights of self-custody. U.S. government can't seize or confiscate lawfully owned Bitcoin. And here's the benefit of that statement. They don't have to confiscate. They don't have to seize it because they'll know how much you got because they can see the 24 seed phrase or whatever it is, numbers. They know every person who has it. So if they know you got it, why do they have to seize it? All they got to do is just wreak havoc in your life and cause you to cough it up because of the fees that you got to pay or because of the tax evasion that you know, whatever it is. So yeah, I'm getting wound up. I'm getting fired up. And I apologize. That's very un-American of me to think that our government really is trying to do us in. But anyway, this is what's happening in the news. I have 8 more articles, at least, but I'm not going to do it to you. I'll spare you. But let me just give you the headlines of a couple of them. Here's a headline. Look at this one. This came out 49 minutes ago. The headline from Financial Times: Can Trump really pay off the U.S. national debt with Bitcoin? Oh, who would have thought? Here's another one: What Donald Trump's strategic Bitcoin reserve could look like. Oh yeah, you gotta love this stuff. And last one: The Fed should sell its 70s era gold stockpile and buy Bitcoin to establish a crypto reserve, says Cynthia Lummis. So once again, right now as I speak, let's look at gold's activity. Gold is at all-time high territory, and they're talking about selling it because it doesn't fit the swamp narrative. It doesn't fit the swamp's agenda. And like I said before, I doubt we have any there, but it doesn't matter because whatever it might be there, they can tell us because they won't show us that we just sold it to the market. And what you think will happen to gold? It's going to sell off. And then who's going to buy it? China and Russia. So clearly they're helping China and Russia secure as much as they can because they have a monetary system that will ultimately prevail, because gold would be here well after Bitcoin and any other crypto asset. Just read the Bible, you know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, opportunity. Here's the opportunity to lie. Here's the opportunity. So let me get to the opportunity part. So, okay. Like I mentioned before, there's two types of money. There is the wealth preservation of value storage that transcends time, gold and silver. That's an insurance hedge against fiat currency. Continue to, like, once again, I mean, just so, like, once again, I just, like, try to, convince people, or not convince people, just, share opportunities with people so people can say I didn't know, whatever. But once again, like, so for the people who've been a part of the silver team, who have been dollar cost averaging or just stackers in general, the most affordable way to get yourself automatically automated every month, just get your silver. So here we got people on the team here that, have just got their weight up. So these are people in the community and whole. So if you guys are interested, mysilverteam.com, links in the description. So this is a way to just continue to add to your insurance policy. That's all, people. Add to your insurance policy. And if you enjoy as a hobbyist or as a monetary savings or whatever, join the program, share your information with others, and then you earn fiat to then buy more silver. So it's like you just do what you enjoy doing, save, earn, buy more, save, earn, whatever. Okay, that's just a strategy. Do what you must. Okay, whatever. And so that's the insurance. Once you got your insurance, now it's time to play. And this is where I'll say, look for opportunities within the same space they're steering us towards. Because as I've said before, we haven't seen nothing yet when it comes to crypto, because crypto hasn't even started yet. And I've been studying this for over a decade. So I've been watching trends. I've witnessed all the cycles firsthand. And I can say this with conviction that we haven't seen nothing yet. And I'll give you a little snippet as to what I mean. Let me grab another little graph here. So I did a video the other day. And so this is when the party really begins. This is when the party begins. So let me zoom in real quick. Give me a second here. The party doesn't start. Like, these are just like hors d'oeuvres before the party starts. So what Bitcoin at 99,000 is just an hors d'oeuvre. You just, sampling or something. But over here, you can see this is the total market cap. As of right now, it's 303.29 trillion. By volume daily, or whatever, it's 212 billion. So since Trump got in, supposedly got in, we're literally, so like, this is the time Trump literally got selected. Let me make sure I'm on the screen here. Okay. This is the time Trump got selected. Let me get back here. This is the time Trump got selected. The 5th. He got selected. He didn't get elected. He got selected. Because mind you, what type of election that people actually have when you keep getting the same damn people over and over again? You get the same school of thought, the same mind frame, the same individuals. They all out of shape, older, Caucasians for the most part, that are a part of the damn system. Like, is that really a selection or election? Get my drift. Anyway, so it was 2.39 when Trump got in. Okay. Now it's 3.2. That's $1 trillion within 2 weeks ish. And this is all of hype off of Bitcoin strategic reserve, a lot of activity in Europe, a lot of developments in the ETF sector, a lot of, now we got retirees. So here's my point. The retirees, the whole goal is to get that $30 trillion of retiree funds parked in stocks and bonds and transfer that in to the Bitcoin, Bitcoin and the crypto space in general. And that's coming, because I'd imagine right now, I don't know this, but because of the price action, who would want to miss out on all of these nominal gains? So retirees are calling up, hey, give me some allocation to the ETF, give me this, give me that, give me some micro strategy, give me this, give me that, give me that. So $1 trillion has entered into an economy that hasn't even done anything. It's been 2 weeks. So there's two things that's going to be the trigger. There's going to be a crisis banking event, which will bring things down. And then Trump, quite obvious, he will have to respond because what president would sit around and let their country go to hell in a handbasket without creating more currency? So they're going to pass this package, that package, this package. People get CBDC in their wallets and all stuff like that. And then the initial, within 1 or 2 phases of injection of stimulus, is going to be $10 trillion minimum. First package might be 10 trillion. So what do you think that's going to go to? It's going to go to the digital asset space and the risk assets that are wealth transfer vehicles for the wealthy. This is all about transferring wealth out of the old system into the new. And the people who have more shares in the new happen to be the same people that control the system now. The Bezos, Elon Musk, he's the richest fiat holder now. Elon Musk going to be a trillionaire because he is being positioned as the chief of staff to the swamp. He's not a follower of Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? So he's operating. If you ain't a follower of Christ, then more than likely you're influenced by the spirit of the Antichrist. That's how it goes. So it's good to say what he does moving forward will benefit him and his and those who control him. Because everybody answers to somebody. So my whole point is 10 trillion off rip. Where do you think that 10 trillion is going to go? It's going to go into stocks. And also it's going to go into cryptos. So at 3 trillion now, this is peanuts. Like, we ain't witnessed nothing and people are excited. Wait till something breaks, or wait till this Bitcoin reserve gets passed and they flood the world with currency. So all this is dependent upon a dying currency. So at the end of the day, all you're getting is more of something that's dying that helps them accomplish their goal of taking this entire system and digitizing it and giving it back to the people. But they control, see, watch, tell you everything. And you need permission to act on your behalf in their system or their economy because it's all digital. End of story. So anyway, so this is going to go from 3 trillion to 8 trillion, and 10 trillion and 15 trillion. Then Bitcoin will be 1 million and 2 million and 3 million and 4 million. And then the next question is, how will the regulatory framework hinder the average Joe and Jane from profiting off of this? Because they're not going to let you walk away from the table at the casino with all that funds without taking more than half or not more. So that's why people should have a game plan, a strategy. I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't give you one. But on my part, because I've been watching this for so long, it's quite obvious how it's going to end. Have a plan. So if you guys are interested in finding out more of a plan, more thoughts, ideas, suggestions, then drop some comments, share your thoughts, and then I'll put together some things. Believe me, I have an unlimited capacity of imaginative ways of sharing information. So yeah, God is good. God is good. But anyway, okay, people, I got more articles. I'm done. This is more than enough. But it's good to be back on the air, sharing stuff. Drop a comment, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, show your boy some love. If you haven't, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe so we stay plugged in. And then also, I was about to show you some graphs. I got more charts. I didn't get to my charts. My biggest one of probably my greatest accomplishments behind all this happens to be right here on the screen, the dollarcation chart. This is everything I've learned compressed into one graphic chart. And because we pressed on time, but I'll zoom in here. I've been documenting all this stuff, everything I learned. These are all the coinage acts, first bank, second bank, detailed stuff. 1913 and 74, all the key pieces of legislation that took place in our country that got us to the point we're at now. And I got some figures here. I got 74 to 2009. I got all this stuff to even go into the idea of a cashless society initiative that started in 2015 within the US. And the central bank digital currency, which is coming in 2026. Mark my words. See this? It says 2026. Bookmark this and then come back and holler at me. But, for those who are interested, if you guys want to get a hold of this, go to rethinkingthedollar.com, scroll to the bottom, and you'll see it there. And I got more stuff. But anyway, I have fun. I got more stuff to talk about too. So I might come back on. I might come back on and do some stuff. So, if you enjoyed this, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, share. And as always, all of this information you need to connect for resources is in the description. And I forgot to mention, one of the most exciting ways people get involved in when it comes to gold, because they're trying to sell gold, but why people should be getting gold. And then the gold has been rebranded in a more affordable form. So this is the most affordable way to get gold. And like, how can you not have enough stacks? Get your stacks up. Get your stacks. You hear that sound? Get your stacks up. 24 karat gold, baby. Anyway, buygoldnotes.com in the description. So just providing resources, information to help you guys think outside the box. Be blessed, be safe, love, live, laugh, and praise the King of Kings, Yeshua the Mashiach. Be safe.